Hello folks, continuing from part one, we're at the park and we're going to work on some more stances and positioning and taking steps and yeah, stuff like that. So let's get started. We'll do a rotating stance. So we're going to do a lot of rotating. You're using your legs and feet for a spring and thrust-like effect. Now that will help you. That will help you rotate. Some sort of shuffling, a back and forth. This thrust-like effect or spring-like effect, you can use that. You'll be using that for your front and your back, coordinated together to give you different kinds of effects. Play with it, practice it, and so you'll get an idea of what you can do. Taking steps and doing your moves and stuff, that belongs to an idea that, or an understanding that there's always a flow and rhythm available, a harmony and coordination. You'll naturally feel it, a footstep or movement coinciding with an upper body position or punch. So here I'm exaggerating a step and a punch. This can be your basic rhythm, your basic coordination. It should coincide with the feeling that it promotes or supports your offense and defense. And you'll know the difference from other positions which will feel like they oppose each other and you'll feel restricted. In this rhythm and coordination, you'll practice adding 2 or 3 moves per step or stuffs like 2 or 3 steps per move. It may feel uncomfortable and uncoordinated at first, but with enough practice, you'll find out if it's possible and effective or if it's a poor mechanic in relationship. So find a little space and walk. Take steps and punch and work your combinations from there. Do the same for kicks. When taking forward or backward steps, the point where your legs are furthest apart can be a strong position, but it can also have limited mobility. It can be a point where you're caught in transition, maybe a point where you can't easily punch or kick, especially usually for kicks, where you would have to bring a leg back toward your core in order to feel good leverage and less resistance to use the leg. So know your stutter steps and small steps, and also know which moves are better from a wide stance and which ones are better from a small one. A lot of folks may not cross over entirely, but they do bring the back foot to meet the front, just as the front then skips forward. You could slide, hop, skip, step, whatever keeps you coordinated and encourages balance so you don't have to drastically change or rise up, standing up straight. A lot of the same goes for stepping back. Punch, guard, get out of the way, rotate, all involving your footwork. You're not going to be a robot, so just have most of it favoring good habits and options and avoid multiple extreme craziness like your legs and feet constantly crossing over and being in twisted positions and many narrow upright stances. Some advanced techniques is having multiple stances and position choices from particular steps. This takes more practice than you might assume, such as stepping in a certain distance and angle to maybe go into a long left lead stance, but you might be able to also turn that step into a short reversed right stance. Practice, experiment. When you're clashing and grinding in close distance, even when you're in the clinch, your footwork and positions are still important. It provides you certain defense and offense, and it could also be felt and read by your opponent, who can pick up things you might be trying to set up. It can be like chess then, right? Are you setting up for a knee, for a takedown, or to quickly push off and break out? Of course you need to practice your infighting. In the clinch work, each of you in the pocket, there's hardly room to do big chambers and gearing back to load up or try to produce some massive momentum. Try from the hips, then from the waist, the core, the torque, the angles and twist. Getting in close is not easy. It's often a recipe for chaos, but you want to get in with a purpose and composure. You can sprint and surprise blitz in, and you can be guarded to work your way in. And resist being too jumpy and twitchy, where you quickly bail out and spring back to avoid your opponent's move. Sometimes you got to stay in the pocket, stare down the barrel if you want to do some inside work. When punching and kicking, you may end up striking your opponent's guard or just get blocked. Taking elbows to your forearm is common. Be prepared. Try to have good clashes in training and sparring with others. Taking a heel to your arms if you should block or absorb will not be an easy task either. And of course, fighting in close may involve wrestling, grappling. I definitely recommend learning and practicing some grappling and ground techniques, because quite frankly, you may find yourself on the ground, or somebody might be trying to wrestle you to the ground, and you may not have an easy option to just stand up and get up off the ground. You should at least know how to apply a rear naked choke. Here I'm practicing some body shots and low shots. There's a lot of danger when throwing kicks to your opponent's legs and lower legs. One classic outcome is your opponent will take and absorb your kick so they can counterpunch at the same time. Practice some effective low kicks that don't require you to do some super loaded up power shot with the rest of your body falling over in the direction you just kicked. Faking in, guard up, quick flicks and popping kicks to opponent's lower leg. And you can get your hips more involved in order to throw some heavier, more powerful low kicks. And of course, you can add some, or lean in some of your body weight too, to get more power into it.